Hello. Hello. You got cut out when you were trying to do a noise.
Hello.
Hello. We just got
Just
finished.
do a boring show then.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I was about to tell everyone that we just got finished burying a body, and we won't tell you where it was because that's a surprise for a future episode.
It's a
Um,
surprise for a future episode. Riley is trying to get me fucking taken down by the CIA.
no, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to lay out a nice story for our audience. The story of the body buried, that'll be resolved in episode 50. So look forward to that. Um, but welcome back to the podcast. It's it's been another week, another insane week. You know that Lenin quote. There are weeks where nothing happens, and then days where weeks happen, or some shit like that. I don't know.
Just to clarify, are we talking Vladimir Lenin or John Lennon? Because those are
Vladimir,
vastly different
Vladimir
perspectives
Lenin,
on life.
Vladimir Lenin, the one with the
Vladimir Lenin.
I, the one with the I, and not with the O.
You know, now that we just brought up Vladimir Lenin, is it him that I'm thinking of? But his assassination was fucking
He wasn't
wild.
assassinated. He died of like
Who am I thinking
cancer.
of?
He died of like
Who was
pancreatic cancer
the
or some
Russian
shit.
revolutionary who was assassinated?
Trotsky?
Trotsky, was
Yeah,
it him?
yeah. He was
Who was killed
the ice pick.
and then he murdered his assassin and then he died.
Oh, I don't know about that. I Trotsky was hit in the back of the head with an ice pick by a assassin sent by Stalin. He was living in Mexico on fucking Frida Kahlo.
I could just be getting the story wrong. Some of those stories, I take the more
Other
entertaining version and
there's
make that
there's
my
a
head
there's a
canon.
lot of Russian figures around that time who were assassinated. So I'm sure that
Who?
story is real. It's just the
What's
name.
the other one? Rasputin.
Rasputin
Rasputin's
Rasputin
assassination.
Rasputin was before like the rest of them because he was in the World War I era. But yeah, he was also wild. They poisoned him, and he's like, "This cake is delicious." And then they shot him, and then he was like reportedly still moving after they were about to dump him into the river. He's like, "Where? Don't throw me!" And then they threw him in the river, and he drowned to death.
Yeah, that is absolutely. But that to me just reads as like the average Russian.
Again, sorry.
Fucking
Washka. I
shoot
can't.
them and just like, ow.
Ow, ow. No, I was thinking about actually being poisoned the other day while I was at work. Because I was like, damn, I buy the same food like every day. I always eat the same like blueberry muffin. Every like night shift I do at work. And it's like if someone wanted to poison me, they could just leave one blueberry muffin behind and just leave it full of like poison. And it'd be so easy. I'd be such an easy target in a Hitman game. It's crazy. I'm alone
That's
in my room all day. Like
that's a very odd thought to just have out of fucking pocket, you
it's because
realize.
I know. I think about Hitman a lot because I like those games. I just like them. Sometimes I'm like,
I have to
how
know
far?
that.
I sometimes go, how far could I realistically get in places with just an outfit that looks like I belong?
As far as I understand, though, there are three eras of Hitman, right? There's the
Hmm.
classic old school Hitmans.
Yeah, like one
There's the
through
middle
contracts,
period, right?
like
With
Blood
like
Money,
absolute.
Absolution.
I would say Blood Money's in the classics era.
No, I'd say the classics ends at contracts.
Fair. And then there's the modern Hitman, which is
The
beloved.
World of Assassin trilogy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So I
trilogy is
want
so
to
good.
know, curiosity, out of curiosity, what do you think of Absolution?
I think I always think this whenever there's an entry in a series that's like controversial. I think this with a lot like when you had like I'll use Teen Titans as an example because Teen
Okay.
Titans I think has a similar situation like this. You have the original show which everyone loves. This is our Hitman Classic trilogy also. Everyone loves
Okay.
it. There's such a standard there, right? And then the next thing comes out, Absolution or Teen Titans Go, which is such a different thing than the original thing when there was such an expectation for it to be like that, that everyone hates it. Absolution was like this gritty, dark, action-focused game that felt in line with a lot of games of its time, but it didn't feel like a Hitman game, so a lot of people hated it, even if it had qualities that still make it an entertaining and fun game. Because it wasn't what people wanted, it was bad. Same thing with Teen Titans Go. It was like a comedy show for children, but it was extremely meta and had a lot of like interesting like things to say about like parodying the history of DC. There was some merit to it, but because it was not something people wanted, it was hated by everyone. But then in the future, there's new things that are coming out. There's a new Teen Titans coming, the show coming out soon, and now people are like looking back on the old Teen Titans Go and being like, okay, maybe it wasn't that bad. So because we have the World of Assassination trilogy, people can look back at Absolution and appreciate it for what it had, because we got what we wanted, which was a good traditional, not traditional, but like an evolution of the Hitman formula that felt like a Hitman game. So I think of Absolution in that way. I think of Absolution as a weird departure that I can like appreciate now that it's not like we're left off on. Same thing with like Devil May Cry too. Like if Devil May Cry ended with DMC, that like shitty fucking remake, it would be fucking horrible. But because we have DMC 5,
You
that
mean Hot
like
Dante?
yeah, Jade likes DMC Dante and not the mainline Dante. Just so everyone knows, they
Look,
like black hair Dante. I
look,
know why it is. It's absolutely in character, but
look. The original Dante's design feels edgy, whereas like Hot Dante, as I'm going to be calling him, just feels like
I think you're
like
so
that
off the
dumb
mark with the.
22-year
I think
old.
it's the other way around. I think DMC Dante is the edgier one because he's like all he's
He
black. He's got the black hair and he's like, I'm
Yes,
like
but he's
cool and shit.
exactly like what you'd imagine a dumb 22-year-old to be like.
And Dante's a silly guy. Have you? DMC 5 has the stupidest, silliest shit I've ever seen.
I've never played a DMC game and I know
I just
almost
watched my
nothing
brother play
about the
them.
lore.
I just watched my brother play them.
And that is the only DMC game I've actually seen
I want to play them on
like
stream.
properly. I'd
Those are
watch that.
great. Those are great stream games. One of my favorite German clips was he was playing the remaster of 2, and that game has a bug where there's all of a sudden just a random audio explosion. I kind of want to pull it up because it's really funny. But like I don't even know how to script it. I kind of want your take on it in like from a gameplay perspective because I think we should talk about Marvel Rivals today.
Oh yes, we
Um,
are you sure?
yeah, you
Are
can talk about it
you
because I
are
agree
you
with you on the
emotionally
performance.
prepared?
I agree with the performance issues that the game has. So I just
You
want to pull
agree
up
with that,
the.
but you are not emotionally prepared for the rest of my statements, even though you know what they are.
Yeah. But hold on. I want your take on what even happened here. I don't even know. It's like,
Okay.
so he's playing the game, and the game just does that.
Wait, play again? That's the game.
Yeah, I know, but what was that? What the fuck happened? What happens in a game for this to happen? Where the audio just nukes him? This is so funny.
That's surely a bug, right?
It is a bug. It's a known bug in the
Surely
game.
that's a bug.
It's like the. Oh my. So funny. It's so funny.
Surely that's a bug.
It is a bug, but I don't know what
Surely
the hell's
that's a bug.
happening there. It's a bug that's known in the
Okay.
game, but like I don't even. How does that happen in a game?
Since you're emotionally prepared, let's talk about rivals.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
take
I'm
your
okay.
statements first.
Okay. I think that Marvel Rivals is from a game design perspective, from like hero design, from most of level design, from the lore and the effort put into it, a great game. Probably the most fun I've had with a hero shooter since the early days of Overwatch.
You can't call on the law. The law is not written by the game devs or the game people.
But
The
it's
law is there and it exists prior to them.
no, it doesn't, because this lore is specifically created for this game. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. I'm saying the effort put into the game. by the game developers, from the game designers, art direction. I like the art direction. You don't like it, I like it. I like the art direction. The
I
people who wrote
I think
everything,
the
I
game
like
is
it.
ugly as sin.
I think it's cool. It's stylized. I like it. Anyway,
I
um, you were gonna let me give my thoughts first before you voted in. Don't
know,
start.
but
Don't start.
I know. Keep
I
going.
I think from that perspective, the game is great. I think the game absolutely needs patches to fix performance issues and to fix like memory leakage and stuff. The game is unoptimized, but it's really really fun. I have a lot of fun with it. I've even been putting down Baldur's Gate to play it. That's how fun it is. Mostly because I haven't had really the time to play Baldur's Gate, but Marvel Rivals requires less of a time sink.
Blasphemy.
It Marvel Rivals is less of a time sink than Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate, I need like a whole night open to play, like an actual D&D session. Like I can't just.
True.
I need like hours to play Baldur's Gate. Marvel Rivals, I can play for 2 hours and be fine. Baldur's Gate, I need like four. You know. So
Fair.
especially where I am now, I'm about to go into Moonrise Towers for the first time. So I want time. I want time to let that sink. Um. So from that end, I really like Marvel Rivals. For the record, the current character I think I'm maining is Hawkeye, because he's really fucking fun. I regularly go like 30-0 for my games as Hawkeye. I think he's really good. Now Jade, why do you not like the game? Tell the world.
Are you ready, Riley?
Yes, I'm ready.
The game is ugly as sin.
I
It
know.
lacks any fucking impact during combat. The
That.
sound design is actually awful. And it is exactly what I'd expect from a studio whose biggest titles are fucking mobile games and funded by the Chinese government. I think the performance issues are usually acceptable for games of that style that are this early in their release cycle.
They are releasing a patch soon to fix a lot of
But
performance issues.
but on that same note, the various amounts of issues I've heard from you, from Anseri, from
No, but to be fair with
other streamers.
Anseries was their printer. Remember? Anseries was the
Yeah,
Wi-Fi on their
that's
end.
true. And
So
series was the Wi-Fi on their end, but like I've like watched other streamers play it now as well, Nix especially, and his friends, and like beyond the memory leak issues, like the game crashing for no particular reason, like there's just a certain level of like, wow, they didn't test this properly at all. That's incredibly egregious for a game release like this.
right, but to your point also, you brought up Overwatch when they released the classic mode, and there were so many issues that you had with it, and that was only from a gameplay perspective. It didn't because obviously it didn't revert to having all the bugs at launch. It didn't revert to having all the crashes at launch.
Yeah, it didn't have
So
all of that shit.
we're still in the first week of Marvel Rivals. I think it's been out for a week at this point. Maybe a little longer. I forget.
You
Um,
think that they'll fix an issue as sort of abstract as it lacking impact, though?
well, I think that it doesn't really lack impact. I think it's just you. I think that they could, because a lot of the like what do you think makes impact in a game like this? Like what do you think
So
impact
you
would be
mentioned
required?
Overwatch, right?
Hmm.
I'll give you this example. When I land a hit with a character,
Hmm.
whether it be Junkrat, whether it be Pharah, whether it be Diva, no matter what character I'm playing, when I'm hitting someone, I feel like there's feedback to that hit.
Is it through the sound, like the
It's
sound of
not
like a hit?
just sound.
Because I
That's why I
don't
say
get, I don't
it's a
feel that.
semi-abstract
Like I don't
sort of.
get that from Overwatch anyway. Like in a way where it's like noticeable. In a game where I feel like where I feel like I'm hitting things, it's like a fighting game. That's what I think of when like because I feel like there's an audio feedback from Overwatch and in Marvel Rivals when you take a hit, but from like a feel perspective, I never get that. I don't really get what you mean by
Like
that.
that's why I say it is kind of like an abstract issue because that impact comes a lot with it's tied in with the visual feedback of it. It's tied in with some of the movement feels far too floaty. And I don't just mean for flying characters. I just mean like even with Squirrel Girl, like the movement itself feels floaty, and it's just there's so much lack of feedback. I feel like this. Look, I'll call this a personal critique, but I don't like when your health is low.
That I do think needs to change. They need to
Like
change the low health sound
there's a
effect.
lot of things where I feel like the game is not giving me the feedback I want or need.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with some things like the health thing. Like in Overwatch, your screen like kind of gives you a small like a vignette, and it has the characters having gasping audio, like gasping for breath and stuff. And I think if Marvel Rivals had something like that, that would fix that end. Because right now it has like a roar sound effect. It goes like "Roar." It sounds like a Wolverine attack or something. Like it doesn't sound like a sound effect for low health at all. I thought that it was someone activating an ability when I first heard it.
But on that same note, I feel like the visuals are very busy. I don't know how to describe it. What's the terminology there?
For what like over designed or something?
Not over design, like the
Contract
same
like
reason I never got into the old Diablo games. It's because noise,
no, well, yeah,
visual
visual
noise.
noise.
The visuals are very like stacked on visual noise,
I
and
can
that
see
makes
that.
it very difficult to feel those impacts, to feel like that's where that like you see that lack of impact is a very abstract thing that
I
you
can see
can't
that, but
directly
I
fix.
think that's mostly like a person to person thing. And it's not so much a failing of the game, but more so just vibes not matching. It's like one of those situations. That's what I
Because look,
think.
I played a lot of shooters in my time.
Mm.
I'll just lay out my shooter experience. Put it that way, it's fucking stupid. But like
Sure, the
I
ball was
started I started on like
Unreal Tournament.
Counter-Strike 1.6 on like Team Fortress 2 on like Unreal Tournament, like all the way back to like Unreal Tournament Classic, like Unreal Tournament 2004, like old ass games. And all of them feel far more impactful. All of them feel far more like feedbacky. They know what they're doing. These are like 20, 30-year-old games now. Like it just feels like an incredible lack of experience on the side of the studio.
And it is an incredible lack of experience. But I think given the you gotta admit though, considering they haven't made like any other like real big game before this, the fact that they were able to put this out in the state that it's in, like a state that's mostly like good, right? Like performance issues aside, the game is well put together. Like for a
Mm.
studio that only makes mobile games, this is incredible.
I do want to make a side note here, though, and I've heard a couple of people comment on this, where they say, "Oh, they're one of the most profitable game companies in the world."
I
It's
think
like they make mobile games.
he was just reading off a Wikipedia article. He wasn't
Yeah, but
making a
like
claim there.
they
He was
make
just saying.
mobile games. Like that's not a comparison. Mobile games are designed to eat the money of whales.
Yeah,
Like that
I
doesn't
do love.
say anything about the
I love
quality
referring to people
or
as
anything.
whales. It's so funny.
What are you, fatphobic?
No, I mean from like a
I
gambling like I
know.
know the actual usage of the word. It's just funny to me because it's just like I just imagine it. I just imagine that one video of all the old people at the slot machine just pressing on it like fucking Hector Salamanca.
Yeah. I heard it a lot because I used to have friends who did tech work, like development
Right.
and stuff, or online gambling
Oh god,
companies.
that's like hell. I can only imagine the calls you get.
No, and it wasn't me. It was their
No,
fucking
I'm just
job.
saying you in general.
Yeah, and one person told me that those companies 100% have black books.
Oh my god, they're so evil. Yeah, they're gambling
Like
companies. This is literally like
when
mob shit
when the whales want like, oh, I want like
with the
a
whale.
kilogram of cocaine and a gaggle of hookers, like the company will provide, but you obviously can't buy that legally. So those companies 100% have black books.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I just gambling is casinos are evil, dude. They're so evil. Gambling, it's such a fucking mob industry. It's crazy.
The
Um,
thing is that like it's fine. It's fine. I don't think
yeah,
it's
it's
bad.
no. I think gambling in itself would be fine, but just like the people who run it, they're
Yeah, but also
so
like
fucking evil. Oh my god.
I'll just say straight up, I don't like Coke. I don't take Coke. I don't advocate that anybody try it. It's a pretty terrible thing, but I do believe that if people want hookers and Coke,
Yeah, no,
there
that's fine.
shouldn't be
Yeah,
anything
no,
wrong with
that's
that.
not the part I'm saying. I'm talking about the part of like encouraging gambling addictions, encouraging people to lose all their money so they can spend more
Oh yeah,
money in a
that's
casino.
evil.
That's evil. That is pure fucking evil, and that's what I'm talking about. I don't care about the
It's
fucking
more honest
doing hookers
than
and hookers
fucking
and shit.
insurance.
Oh yeah, insurance is basically the same
How's
fucking
that
thing.
for a segue?
Oh, actually, that's a great segue. So I don't know if I don't we haven't talked about it on the podcast, but a guy was shot. A kind of important guy, a guy who was a CEO of the most profitable healthcare company in the world, United Healthcare. Brian Thompson, CEO, was shot by supposedly, allegedly, a man named Luigi Mangione. Mangione.
Luigi.
Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione. So I'll pull up the CNN article, even though all these articles are obviously going to be biased, because who would have thought that CEO dying would make some biased headlines? Um, So, uh, there's just so much to say about this. So we haven't talked about this at all on the podcast, mostly because I wanted to wait until we had a suspect, to talk anything about it.
And last
Because
week, as mentioned last week, I was also away from a lot of stuff and
that
like
is also true.
slowly behind
And we
on
talked about
news and
other
things.
news. We talked about Syria. Before that, we talked about
Yeah.
France. We never even talked about South Korea, I don't think. I think we never
Yeah,
talked
but
about
that was
that.
a nothing
That was
burger.
a nothing burger, but it was really funny. Really funny nothing burger. He literally was like, martial law. Oh, never mind.
Apparently,
Sorry
that dude's
about it.
gonna get assassinated soon as well. Just
Big
some
news,
theories I've
big
heard.
news coming.
Anyway, Luigi.
Luigi, another assassination. So the CEO Brian Thompson. Let's pull a picture up of him. Brian Thompson. Here he is. That is that's
That
not
is
you.
an American actor. I know this dude
Is this
though.
man? Here you go. Here he is. He looks like my boss.
Oh,
He looks like one of my managers.
he looks like a middle manager.
He
Like
does. He
if
probably
if
does.
you put this picture in any corporate environment, I just assume this guy is like a middle manager. It's
He's
probably
got
where
to
he started.
probably. He's from Iowa. So he became the CEO in 2021, I believe. And his biggest he hasn't been CEO for long, but his biggest contribution to the company was implementing an AI that would like decline 1/3 of all insurance claims. So it's just this like he's that way. There's no culpability on who decides what, and there's no more paperwork. So an AI denied it. Tough shit, buddy. You can't take that up with anyone. An AI decided it. There's no one you can like go after. So we don't know why Luigi targeted him in particular, but he did. So
That probably ties into my points, but carry on.
I assume Luigi did it because he was relying on the healthcare government. Apparently, Luigi had a history of back issues, so that probably led to him having to go and deal with the medical insurance that way. Um, and so I'm pretty certain he probably went to United Healthcare and stuff for his insurance, and they denied his claim. So, or maybe his like someone in his family or someone he loved suffered under this or something, or maybe he's just ideologically
So
motivated by it.
that's all like
And this is all on the assumption that he did.
ancillary.
Yeah,
The point
I'm just
is
rambling.
he a poor suffering American shot the CEO of a healthcare group because healthcare groups in the US are evil.
Yes.
And now everybody is celebrating the death of this guy, except if they're right-wing, soulless fucking ghouls.
Yes. Or liberals,
Okay,
which,
who cares what the fucking liberals think?
which, so yeah, that's him there. There's really like not many articles with him in the forefront because they don't want to put his face anywhere, I guess. Unless you go to like Fox News where they get him grimacing in like middle of speaking like they always do whenever they want to make someone look bad, they just get mid talking. Anyway, here he is down here. Never mind,
Yeah.
he brings you again to another.
So,
Here he is. Here he is, the
so
mugshot.
the real issue at hand is that we have two sides to the reaction to this, right? As I
Yes.
said, people are
Right.
celebrating. I'm on Blue Sky. I don't buy the Twitter brain rot.
I use it for porn now
So
only.
I'm on Blue Sky,
Blue Sky's just
and like everybody is so happy and over the moon, and actually to the point of celebrating the death of the CEO.
because Blue Sky's full of liberals. We're
And
like the Bernie liberals, so they're like kinda
under
edgy.
I understand where they're coming from. I
Yeah.
fully understand why this is cathartic to those people. But what are you fucking looking up?
I'm looking up a poll that I remember seeing. More than
Yeah,
70% of Americans feel the US healthcare system is failing them. So yeah, this is where it's coming from.
this is where it's coming from. And look, I fully understand. I
And
really,
all of its
really do.
affordability and
But,
too focused on profit. That's it.
but, this solves nothing. This accomplishes
Yeah,
nothing. All the essentially the biggest outcome of the CEO getting shot this way
is
is
more
that
security.
CEOs are going to be spending more money on private
Yeah,
security.
exactly.
The CEO, you said he started being CEO of the company 2021, right?
Yeah, April 2021.
2021. How long has this company existed?
I believe since the 60s or something. Oh, we can see.
Right. This guy is nobody. He didn't write the policies. He didn't personally
1974.
fuck up the medical like things in the US. He's essentially just a face. He's a guy at the top. He could be fired just as quickly as a fucking help desk consultant.
Mhm.
Like, he's nobody. This accomplishes nothing. Your
Well,
catharsis is meaningless.
I think
Like,
it
the real
does.
problem
I
needs to
think,
be remedying the core issues.
but how do you remedy those issues unless you get people talking about the issues? And I think
I
that's the
know, but
biggest
like,
thing that comes from this is people talking about healthcare. People are.
I think
This is like a spark to like get people to get really fucking angry about how things are because they're like, hey, wait a minute.
I think that I've skipped over the most core important part of what my point comes to, right?
Mm,
And that is we are now living in we are starting to live in a society where we are celebrating the murder of people. Like,
yeah,
regardless of who he was, like, I don't like Brian Thompson. He is evil. Like, you know, fuck this guy. But we are now living in a society where we are openly celebrating the cold-blooded murder of a person. There are other ways to punish the evil, right?
right,
And I don't like that the like we're dealing with fascism. We're dealing with Trumpism. We're dealing with like a world that is slowly souring as a culture on a whole scale. This is not an American issue. This is not a European issue. This is not an African issue. This is not an Asian issue. This is an issue with world culture where we are starting to just celebrate these kinds of things and that society, that what that builds sociologically in a society is not good because like look, the other motherfucker who killed the guy on the subway now just
Daniel
walked
Penny.
free. Daniel Penny. And although a lot of people are angry about that fact, a lot of people are happy about the fact that he walked free because they're saying, oh, the guy was like a homeless drug addict who was gonna hurt and kill people. Like, we're too easily, as a society on a global scale, falling to celebrating the death. Whether you're on the left or on the right, the only difference is whose deaths you're celebrating. And I don't like that society is going down these paths so easily and so often. That's my take. That's the actual real crux of my take.
I understand, and I agree in a lot of ways. I agree in most ways, honestly, about um the not that it's like a double equivalency, right? Like it's not like uh Jordan Neely and Brian Thompson are two equivalent people. Jordan Neely was a homeless drug addict. Not even drug. I don't even think he was a drug. He was probably a drug addict. He was a homeless, mentally unwell man, and Brian Thompson was the CEO of one of the largest companies ever to exist. So like,
Probably a
there's
drug addict.
probably also a drug addict, but to the nice, high quality drugs. So one of these
Of
people
course.
has done actual harm in the world, and one of them really hasn't. Worst he's probably done was hit someone. I think he had a felony charge, but nowhere near as much people that Brian Thompson has put to death in the 3 years he's been CEO. So, like, I understand what you're saying, and I understand that you're not trying to say that these two people are like equivalently like innocent or whatever, guilty.
Yeah, I'm
But you're
not trying
you're
to
saying, yeah, yeah,
equivocate these two people,
you're
but it's
saying
very
that
much
it's
just on a
worrying.
human level.
You're yeah
On a
on human
human
level
level.
that it's worrying that there's a lot of celebration over death, over violence, even if it
Yes.
is justified, because it is justified. This is a justified reaction. I
There are
think
other
it's
ways
like
to
60,
punish.
70
Look,
years of
as
anger
evil
in
as Brian
America.
Thompson is, as evil as Brian Thompson is, he wasn't signing
He
like
wasn't the guy who
papers saying
started it. He
murder
was just
people.
another
He's
face
not
in the
Hitler.
process. Yeah,
He's not Hitler.
he's just
He
another
didn't
face in the process.
He's just another asshole. He's another cog in a much bigger machine that's built towards killing people. But
Right.
he is not Hitler. He didn't personally go out there and pull the plug on like patients in hospitals. Look, he's evil and he's part of an evil system. But this doesn't fucking do anything. The system hasn't changed.
Right.
In
Like,
a month, nobody's going to fucking remember who the fuck Brian Thompson is. Somebody
I
else
don't
is
think
going to
that.
do
I
something.
honestly think that the trial we're gonna get is gonna be like the size of the OJ trial. I think this is gonna be like the trial of the century type shit. I
In a
That's what I
month,
think.
what's it like?
It, I
In
don't
just about a
know.
month, Trump takes over as president of the U.S.
This is true. On under a month, no,
Like
actually, no, over
much
it's
bigger
a
news,
month and 8 days.
much bigger news is happening. People are not going to give a fuck about Brian Thompson. Let's say, okay, let's be human about this. In a year from now, nobody's gonna give a fuck about
Yeah,
this.
probably, probably
And the healthcare situation is going to be
worse.
just as bad, if not worse, because Trump.
Yeah,
Like there's so many factors to this shit. So I really don't think that when we come to the initial reaction, I understand the emotional reaction. I'm not taking away from anybody in the US who has suffered under your healthcare system. But are we really trying to build a society of celebrating the death of some asshole?
right. I understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but I think I mentioned the trial, and I'm gonna mention it again. I think the biggest effect of this isn't that like his death is going to actively bring about like magical change to the healthcare system, but I think, like I mentioned a bit ago, the anger that is being brought to like attention at the healthcare system, if it is acted on by people with good intentions, like a leftist movement or even the Democrats, if they manage to do something, if they manage to at least do the bare minimum to encourage this, or like Bernie Sanders, I mean, Bernie Sanders could do all the best he fucking can. he's trying his best.
Bernie
He's on his
Sanders,
own. He's on his own. But if there's like a proper leftist wave, this
Bernie Sanders
yeah,
is wonderful. And if that man ever became president, he would arguably be one of the best you've ever had.
he would be the
But,
best. What are you talking about? One of them. He would be
but,
the best. No
here's
question.
the big but. He's 100 fucking years
He's
old.
old as shit. He's old as shit now, but he wasn't 8 years ago. We could have had him 8 years ago. Anyway.
Yeah, but he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Age-wise,
Yeah. He's not in his prime anymore. His prime was like eight
so
years ago.
we're not gonna get Bernie
No,
Sanders.
we're not. He's not. He said
That's
he's not
just
running
the
again. He
reality
said
of
he's
it.
not running again anyway.
I kinda have the hope for AOC. I like her.
AOC is just too young. They won't take her seriously. She won't get any
How old?
votes from people. I think she's like 28.
Yeah, she can't run then.
She can't run. But again, even if she tried to run, they wouldn't like the Democrats wouldn't like fucking like her.
No, she wouldn't be
Voters wouldn't
supported
like
by the
her. Yeah,
DNC, but she very well could do a Bernie.
she could do a Bernie, but Bernie ran with the DNC in his presidency.
He ran for his presidency at the DNC, but he is an independent.
He is an independent, yes. Well, technically,
And
on
I
the state
think
level, he has a state party that only operates in the state, but in the federal level, he's an independent.
if he didn't go with the DNC and he did try to run as an independent, he might have had more luck.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he just
That's why I say might.
He wouldn't have any money.
Remember, I did qualify that with might.
Yes, yeah, a might for sure. He definitely would have done better than Hillary. Let's fucking put that out there. He would have done better than Hillary. The issue is that he would really have no funding.
The
He
thing
wouldn't
is,
have
he
get his voice out there.
had a decent amount of funding for being an independent.
It would be
because
all
wasn't his whole
crowdfunding. It would be all
yeah, it
crowdfunding
would
from
be.
like without any
But
like
people
base
are
of billions of support.
willing.
Yeah, I could.
People are willing.
That's such like it's such in the past though that it's like it's just to cope to even imagine a scenario like that at
The
this
thing
point.
is that look, I don't take anecdotal things as evidence, but I remember somebody else mentioning that like their mother was never politically minded, right?
Mhm.
But specifically asked for like how to donate to Bernie, right?
Yeah,
And now votes Trump.
yeah, because Trump
Like,
acted on the populist messaging that Bernie did, but twists it into being like fake MAGA shit.
but she didn't ask for how to donate to Trump.
Because
Like she
Trump,
votes Trump,
yeah,
but she asked for how to give money to Bernie's cause.
yeah,
And that's the inherent difference, is that
right.
Bernie had the ability to mobilize actual real people on the ground.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about here. If there is someone here who can like mobilize this anger that's rising into forming an actual leftist movement, this can go places because everybody hates the healthcare system in America, and the people who don't are the people who don't rely on it and haven't had to use it yet. Like everybody hates it. It
Yeah.
fucking sucks. It's the worst. It is evil. And if this situation can motivate that anger into something, then something was accomplished from this. But if this goes nowhere, then it was just a guy shot. He deserved to get shot. Who knows? Who knows?
He deserved to be
He deserved to be
punished.
punished. Yes.
But in the grander scheme of that system, deserves punishment.
Yes.
Like not even him. As I said, like he's nobody. He's really nobody.
He really is nobody.
Because, like, they probably already have a new CEO, right?
No, I don't think they do. They would have announced
But
that.
like but it won't be long before they do.
They do. Andrew Whitty.
Right.
Oh wait, hold on.
Because somebody
no, he was the CEO from 2008. Oh, that's a different.
But-
oh no,
but
he
they
is now.
will-
Yeah, they put him in charge.
they either way, even if they didn't, they will soon have a new CEO.
Yeah, he
Right?
just seems to be a film
Like
at the
that
moment.
changes nothing.
Yeah,
You didn't take down like the leader of an ideologically evil political group. You
yeah,
shot
you
some
didn't
asshole
assassinate.
who greases the
fucking-
wheels.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
wheels are still turning.
You shot a pawn essentially
Yeah.
in the grander scheme of things.
Yeah. So
This is like shooting JD Vance.
yeah,
Like, you didn't-
It really is.
Yeah. But the shooter, because I kind of want to talk about the details of his arrest and stuff, because it's very weird to me. It's not Luigi, that was Waluigi.
I know,
Please.
but it wasn't actually Luigi Mangione. He was framed by Waluigi Mangione.
Alright. Alright. So Luigi 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 is a wealthy guy. He's like a tech bro.
Riley,
Yes.
Riley.
Yes.
All
Wah.
right, he's a tech pro.
He's a tech
He's
bro.
a tech pro.
He is an engineer. He is I think he's from Pennsylvania. I forget if they was in Pennsylvania or New York. One of those two. Because they were investigating in Pennsylvania, and then that's when they announced the arrest. But actually, yeah, because he's arrested in Pennsylvania now, so I'm pretty sure he's Pennsylvanian. What town was it? At Luna? Where's At Luna? Where's At Luna? Let's see where this guy's from. Well, let me. I'm signed in on my account. Let me see. Just see.
Oh, fuck, doxing yourself again.
Okay, so it's right in. It's in between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg.
Do you want me to bring it up on my side?
I can do this. I can't do that because that doxes David. I can just sign out. I can just sign
I'll
in.
bring it up on my.
Okay, bring it up.
I have.
Bring it up on your side.
I
Okay.
have.
So
You're on maps, right?
yeah, you're on maps. Yeah, just open up maps. Yes, zoom out. Zoom out. Click on At Luna though, so you can see where it is. Because like, just click on it. Yeah. So zoom out while keeping it open. So you can see like when it even. Oh god. Okay, so. So yeah, it's right between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg. Harrisburg is the capital, and Pittsburgh is there's Pittsburgh, yeah, and Harrisburg is to the top right of your mouse right now. The Pittsburgh, yeah. So it's like West Philly or West Pennsylvania. Um, okay, yeah. So
Pretty inland.
it's pretty inland, yeah. That's like Pennsylvania territory. You know Pennsylvania? Have I told you about Pennsylvania?
I think I've heard the name somewhere before, but it wasn't in a context that paints it in a good light.
No, it's basically a slur for anyone from like the country end of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania,
I
like
see.
rednecks. It's rednecks.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania's a weird state. Fucking Amish people. You got like
German.
rednecks. Yeah, a lot of Germans.
German America.
Yeah, German. Yeah, German.
German America.
German America. There's
Sprachen Sie Deutsch?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh.
that's where he's from. What happened? What are you eyeing about? What are you eyeing about? Hello? 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 Oh no. Hello?
Hello.
That was a weirdly short drop. Anyway, just picking back up. 1 second. Let me let all these fucking.
The last thing I know probably came through was German
It was
America.
Sproken die Deutsch, and then you went ah.
Because I saw you dropping.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where Luigi's from. He's from At Luna, in the middle of Pennsylvania. Anyway, so I was just curious. So they got him. They found him at a McDonald's where he worked at. I think, or here we can just read. We can read. When two police officers arrived, they found a young man wearing a medical mask and a beanie sitting in the rear of the building at a table, looking at a laptop, according to a criminal complaint released on Monday. Officers asked him to pull down his mask and see his face, immediately recognized him as the suspect, according to the criminal complaint. The officers asked the man for identification. He gave him a New Jersey ID. Let's go, woot woot, represent, with the name Mark Rosario. When they asked whether he had been to New York recently, he became quiet and started to shake, the criminal complaint says. Police were unable to find any records that matched the ID given and told him that he was under the official police investigation. He told him his real name was Luigi Mangione. When an officer asked why I used a fake name, he says, I clearly shouldn't have, according to the complaint. on. I wanted to get to the part where they actually got like the tip off. That must be up here. Oh, he's from Maryland. Okay, he's not from Pennsylvania. That's just where he was arrested. Okay, scratch the whole at Luna bit
Mm,
then. New York
scratch the
prosecutors
whole a
have
little bit, but
charged
like Maryland.
Maryland. He was arrested there. 26-year-old Ivy League graduate from Maryland is also charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon. Okay. Fatal shooting at Thompson. Blah blah blah. The breakthrough came 5 days on Monday morning when an employee at McDonald's in Luna, about 230 miles from the hotel where the shooting happened, called police saying they identified the suspect. So an anonymous person at McDonald's says they identified him, and then they get there and it is him, and then they arrest him. And then I believe they said that the person at McDonald's wasn't eligible to receive the bounty out, which is very convenient that there is no bounty payout, which makes me think
Yeah,
that there
because
was no tip
they
off, and that
also like that's just kind of corrupt cops
yeah,
doing corrupt cop
but like
things.
it makes me think this is the FBI. This is the FBI that got involved at this point. So like it makes me think that it wasn't a tip off at a McDonald's, but instead like national surveillance, like FBI legal shit that they used, and we're like, well, we can't just say that we use this, and then they just like, oh yeah, an anonymous tip that we won't be rewarding the bounty to. It's weird. It's weird. They're doing like fucking like state surveillance shit. We already know they are. So like,
Yeah, it's probably because the CEO was incredibly rich. People wanted to know who killed him,
and so they got
and
the
the
FBI.
CIA and the
FBI,
FBI
not
and
CIA. FBI. Sorry. Yeah.
I live internationally.
The CIA is your scary people.
Like the FBI doesn't scare me because they can't come here and get me, but the CIA can.
That's why I was talking about the body you buried with me.
In
Because
your backyard,
it was
in the
no,
United States of
no,
America.
no. It was in mutual. It was in. It was in neutral land. It was
I
in
gotta,
Morocco.
we gotta pause.
We gotta pause. Is it the food?
Yeah, it's the food.
Okay.
It'll be like 2 minutes because I gotta run downstairs. But
Okay. We'll see you
okay.
again, guys, in 2 minutes. Okay.
Food,
Yes. What'd you get?
food,
What'd you
pizza.
get? Pizza. Oh, right. You mentioned the new pizza that they're offering.
Yeah,
What kind of
spinach and
pizza?
bacon.
Spinach and bacon. That's pretty good.
I fucking love spinach.
Spinach is pretty nice. It depends on like what it's with, obviously, because it's like a compliment to other things. But spinach on pizza, that sounds good.
Spinach, feta, and bacon.
That sounds actually really good. Is it little bacon like cut up, like sliced up, or is it like fucking fat pieces of
Sliced
it?
up,
Sliced up. Nice,
sliced up.
nice. That sounds yummy. I'm probably gonna make the lentil pasta that I like.
Mm.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna eat. I feel like I've been losing weight like pretty nicely. At least I feel better. I
No,
feel better.
I won't say who to like call them out, but I heard the other day that a family member of mine lost 20 kilograms of weight recently.
Oh, good for them. That's really hard. Good for
What
them.
horrified me the most is that that is literally 1/3 of my entire weight.
How much is 20 kilograms on? 44 pounds? That's how much I'm trying to lose.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's 1/3 of my entire weight.
Wow. So
If you
you
put my weight
are
in, how many pounds is that?
120 pounds. 54 kilograms. You're 120 pounds.
Yeah, that's about accurate.
Wow. Wow.
Rat is hungry.
Rat is hungry. Eat up. Eat up. Who cares if you're eating the mic? Who gives? If you have an issue with the rat eating in the mic, I'm gonna kill you. No, I can't. That's not true. I'm not gonna
We
do
live
that.
in
That
a
is a stand.
society.
That is a joke.
We live in a
We
society.
live in a society. Um.
So we have been recording for a bit, and I'd like to mention like getting off the
Getting off of
The
this.
sadness.
Getting off the
Yeah.
sentence. Hold on. I wanna. One last thing I want to mention before this, though. I want
Yeah.
to note his manifesto. I'm
Hmm.
surprised by how short it is. It's typically when you're at the point where you go and kill someone, you're kind of a little in the head. You're a little kooky. Let's just admit you're a little kooky if you shoot someone. Okay.
True.
So his
But I
his
think there's a comparison to be made here that most of those shooters with manifestos are fucking nutcases, and this guy was just kind of angry.
this is true. This is true.
Like, he doesn't seem
But
like a
like it,
nutcase.
you know how it opens up. The feds. I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was a fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic had a lot of patience. Sprawl notebook, if present, has been straggling notes and to-do lists and the limited gifts. My tech is pretty locked down, so I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife or trauma that I have done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the US has the first most expensive healthcare system in the world, and we rank 42nd in life expectancy. United is indecipherable, largest company in the U.S. By market cap, behind only Apple, Google, Walmart. It has grown and grown, but has our life expectancy? No. The reality is these indecipherable has gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have the space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g., Rosenthal and more, decades ago, and the problem simply remained. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly games at play. Power games at play. Evidently, I am the first to face the burden of such policy. That was the full manifesto. This is what
Wait,
he.
that was the full
That
thing?
was the full thing.
Yeah, this dude's not a nutcase. He's just angry.
I don't know though,
Which,
because like it's
as
such a weird thing to say.
to use
It's like a
the
Bernie
word
quote over
justified,
here.
I'd say he's justifiably angry.
Yeah, if this is it, then I understand I understand it. But like, if this just doesn't feel like a manifesto. This feels like a convenient, like, oh, I was working alone. Like, don't worry, guys, I was
This,
working alone. Like,
this is
it's
this being
weird.
called a manifesto is propaganda. You
Yeah,
know what this is?
this is like a suicide note.
This is his statement.
This is like a suicide note.
This is just his statement. Why did you do this?
Yeah,
Read the fucking
yeah.
paper.
This isn't a manifesto. I mean, I don't know. It was in his pocket when they found him, supposedly. It's just weird. It's a weird thing to have. If like you, because like he has it on him because presumably he thought he was probably gonna get shot to death by cops. So this is what he had
Probably.
on him to like explain himself, like you said, a statement, like a
Yeah.
suicide note. So like this being it is just weird. It's just a little weird. I don't know. That's all. I wanted to make sure that this was read and said. But
That's fair.
what
I
did you want
actually
to
like
say?
that we ended on that.
Yeah,
I
what did you
actually
want to
like that
say
we ended on that.
about shifting off of the sadness?
I'd just like to end it off maybe with my recent obsession.
What would that be? Oh wait, I
What
have
could
my
that be? Like, you have to ask.
uh, I kind of need to ask. I forget. I'm stupid right now. My brain's foggy.
Dwarf
Dwarf
Fortress.
Fortress, yes, of course. Dwarf Fortress. It's
Like,
alright. It hasn't consumed your life like Baldur's Gate did, so I didn't register it as like
you
an
mean
obsession.
I've put more hours
Yeah,
into
but like
Dwarf Fortress
but like
in a
when you
week
played
than I
Baldur's
did?
Gate, I wasn't hearing from you for like hours of the day.
Like, what's my hours?
You would literally disappear for whole
Yeah, but
days while playing
I
Baldur's
wouldn't
Gate.
chat while playing Baldur's Gate.
That is entirely the reason why. But it's just like
But Dwarf
you
Fortress
don't disappear
certainly has pulled me
with
in
Dwarf Fortress.
because
But yes,
in under a week I've pulled in 56.8 hours.
holy shit, that's like more than my Baldur's Gate hours. I think that's around my Baldur's Gate hours.
What are your Baldur's Gate
Actually,
hours?
let me see. Let me see my Baldur's Gate hours. 43. Wow. And I've been playing those games in like long ass sessions, and you've already surpassed that in a week.
I'd just like to give a shout out to the guy who made Dwarf Fortress. You're a fucking legend, but you are a complete nutcase.
We need to do a social check-in, a welfare check. You know, like, hey, you in there? You still alive in there? You know, because he might be dead, or he might have molded to the
Because
computer.
there's one point specifically that I'd like to mention about Dwarf Fortress.
What would that be?
So in Dwarf Fortress, a lot of world generation and stuff like that goes on the back end. A lot of stories get told in the game that you aren't necessarily privy to, right? Like you
Mm,
can find them out, you can discover these things, but they're sort of happening whether you are there or not.
right.
And it's like every dwarf has a whole personality, which is paragraphs long. Each individual dwarf, each individual character, whether they're in your fortress or not, random civilians, random creatures will walk by, and they have paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of thoughts, feelings, like everything that builds them as a person.
Right.
None of this is written by AI.
Is it not like well, I figured it's not written by AI, but is the way I assume it's done is there's like specific scenarios that are like written out and they're like modular. You know, where it's like there's only a certain amount of like you were talking about showing likes and dislikes and stuff. Like
Yeah,
maybe there's like different personalities that are coded in, and it's like, oh, this guy is like this
but they're
guy's
not
lazy.
complex. They're not simple. They're
You know. I'm
complex.
I'm saying like there's
Like
like the way I can imagine this working is I want to like this is my guess of how it works. There's like a personality type, and then a bunch of different ways those personalities can come out in a dwarf or whatever. And then that's when they start to get like modular and stuff. Because I can't imagine this all being every like him writing hand out like just
no,
this
of course
specific. It's obviously not
there
that. There's
is
got to
that
be it's
modularity.
modularity, I'm sure, but that's still impressive as hell. It's still
That's
really
kind of my
impressive.
point.
Yeah, AI could never fuck AI.
And most of it, 99.9% of all of that is written by one guy, which is the main developer's brother.
Wow, good for him. Good for him. I'd love to like work on a game with
Like
just like that amount of like
there's
time put into it.
there's like obviously I've told you the drunk cat story,
Yes,
right?
I've known that Drunk Cat story is like a famous part of Dwarf
It's
Fortress. I've
amazing.
known it for years.
How's this for another story that'll give you a sort of idea? Is that they wanted to add a specific type of cactus to the
Mm-hmm.
game,
Mm-hmm.
but the developer didn't know what the density of the cactus was.
That's already insane.
One of the fans of the game bought and imported this cactus and then used fluid dynamics to measure
My
the density
God,
in order to tell the developer so they could code that into the game. This game is
that's
incredibly,
insane.
wonderfully in depth.
That is insane. That is actively insane. It is crazy.
Like there are so many systems built on top of each other that, like with the drunk cat story, which I won't get into here because that you should
Everyone
just go
knows the
look up
Drunk
yourself.
Cat story.
That if you don't, you should just go look that up yourself. But the systems work so much in tandem with each other and build on each other so much that even the guy who writes the code and makes the game from the ground up sometimes doesn't know why things happen.
Yeah. It's really I just imagine if his house caught on fire. Imagine how much like it's like the Library of Alexandria burning to the ground.
Yes, he's
It's
created an
insane.
entire world. He's created an entire real
It's really admirable.
functioning.
We should know
It
his
is.
name. We should look up his name.
We should look up his name. Me do that.
Because I was about to say this guy should be like the world and the amount of depth he's created. He should be known as like one of the greatest video game developers of all time. One of the greatest like creative minds of all time.
Here's the Wikipedia. It's Bay 12 Games. Tarn.
Tarn
Tarn Adams
Adams. Of course he's
and
named
Zach Adams.
fucking Tarn. That's the most dwarf name ever. Tarn?
This guy's
Tarn.
backstory is amazing.
He's from
He
fucking
basically
Washington
his
and silly.
parents got him in to game development and programming before he was 10, and he liked it so much that he did programming because it was better than making friends.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, he's a fan
I
of the
think,
tabletop RPG of Cyberpunk. God, I need to play the Cyberpunk tabletop RPG. We should organize
yeah,
that in our
there's his
server.
brother Zach, the guy who writes the sort of lore.
Yeah, Zach, I saw him up here. We should, or we should. I mean, side note, we should definitely after we do the proper D&D campaign, which after I'm finished with school, which ends next week, uh, we can do our first session of the D&D tournament, the D&D tournament,
Please,
D&D game.
let's do that. Please let us do that. But yes, I did really just want to give a shout out to
Yeah,
how much I am
Tarn Adams.
amazed and just I don't even have the words to describe, like, this guy deserves so much credit, and I am glad that I have given him my money. Like, I am actively glad that I have given him my money. The same with Larian. Like, remember, I
Larian,
think I
I
said
fucking love
the
Larian.
same, where I was like, I'm glad I spent this money
Yeah, you
on this
bought.
game.
I remember when I first started getting the Baldur's Gate, and you did too. You told me about the DLC thing that they released, which was basically like, if you really like the game, give them more money. Just sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, give them the money. They fucking this game is amazing. Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing. Dwarf Fortress, from everything I've seen, from how much you enjoyed it, is amazing. Next paycheck I get, I'm gonna pick up Baldur's Gate 3. Dwarf Fortress, Dwarf Fortress, Dwarf Fortress, Dwarf Fortress, Dwarf Fortress, Dwarf Fortress.
Dwarf
I've already
Fortress Gate 3.
Dwarf Fortress, yeah, Dwarf Fortress, Dwarf Fortress, the Gate 3. Um, yeah, Dwarf Fortress. I'm happy that you're enjoying it. I really am. But yeah, yeah. I mentioned it. Uh, I kind of want to mention it again, but I'm finally my semester's finally ending. So, yay, yay, clap, clap, clap. I made it through a semester. Isn't that cool? You're not congratulating me.
That is cool.
Thank you.
Well done, is what
Yay.
I'm gonna say. Well done.
Yay. Because today was actually my last ASL class because next week all the classes are canceled because just take home quizzes and stuff. But regardless, so like, yeah, next week I have one English class, I have one public speaking class, two statistics classes, and two economics classes. That's it. That's it. That's the rest of my. It's the rest of my time done.
Then we can play video games together again, right?
We can play video games together so much. We can do
Like
streams
good ones.
together. Yeah, good ones. No, hey, hold on. Hold on. You were making a diss at Marvel Rivals there. I turn
Yes,
my
yes, I
head
was.
and I snoot away at you. I go, and I walk away. I take off my glove and I slap you.
I fought loudly.
Whoa. Why?
Oh, I was just expressing an opinion about a recent game I played.
Shut up. No, I wanted to mention the movie we actually watched in ASL because we were watching a movie. I really wish I remembered the name of it. I can maybe if you give me 1 second, I'm gonna see if I can find it with one Google search here. Uh, yeah,
It sounded like you said Christian death.
Christian Death. No, it was a Christian made death movie from the. Hold on, let me see if I can say taking. Man, I just. What if I hand shapes? What if it was it called hand shapes? Cheap deaf
God, it's not
movie.
Dead 5.
Cheap deaf movie. Handshake.
God,
No, what was
God's
it?
not Dead 5.
Nah, I can't find it. I cannot find it. But it was a deaf movie. So the majority of it was spoken through ASL. That aspect of it was great. That was really interesting. It was a good immersion in culture for that reason. Uh, Too bad the movie just isn't good. It's really not good. Um, so the plot of the movie is there's a deaf man, and he's coming off of a recent engagement that was canceled. The fiance did not respect that he was deaf. She wouldn't learn sign language and stuff. But she had a daughter who was like 6, and she left the daughter in the care of the deaf man. His name is Andrew, for like a couple minutes to watch her. And then she wound up drowning because he couldn't hear when she fell in the pool. And like that's tragic. That's incredibly tragic and stuff.
That
And
is tragic.
that part of the movie, that's the good part of the movie. And it's told through backstories. It's told through like flashbacks and dream sequences. That's the only good part of the movie, in my opinion. The rest of it, it feels it's got the same like it feels like I don't know if this will hold up for you because different school education system, but it feels like it was filmed to be used in a school curriculum. You know what I mean? It feels like it was filmed. It feels like a video you'd watch in Spanish class.
So here's what I'll say, right? Movies that are written, and I won't even single out Christianity on this one, but movies that are written from a this is a X religion movie are generally going to be bad.
Yeah, because like the thing is, it wasn't explicitly Christian until halfway through the movie.
No,
So
but if
I just thought it was
it's
a cheap movie, and
written
I was
with
like,
that
"Oh, this is
intent,
yeah, you know." But I didn't realize why it was so bad until I got to that point. Because after I got to the point, I'm like, "Oh, it's a Christian movie." Now it all makes sense. Being a little mean on that, but yeah, it makes sense. It was cheap because I was like, "Why are they wording something? Why?" So the first thing that got me to be like, "Oh, this is a little weird," but maybe they're going somewhere with it. Was the main character Andrew? He gets off the train and he passes by a deaf homeless man, and the deaf homeless man asks for money, and Andrew goes, "Get a job. I'm deaf too. That doesn't mean you can't work." And it's like, I understand what you're saying, but also like, you're just yelling at a homeless man. You're just yelling at
yes,
a
but
homeless.
that is
And it's like,
something
but
that's
it's
what
something that Christians
Christians
do.
do.
But
Like
at the moment, I thought, oh, is this gonna be like a character arc for him to like learn how to be more compassionate to people or something? No, it's just yell at homeless people because it's Christianity. They're homeless or beggars and they're poor. And it turns out actually the homeless man pickpocketed him and stole his wallet. So the villain of the movie is a homeless man. Just so you
you
know, the villain.
fucking.
Um.
I
So
will say this for Christianity though. For the fact that they've named their religion after this Jesus Christ guy, they don't seem to listen or do
no.
anything that he seemed to do because he hung out with prostitutes and homeless people all the fucking
And
time.
lepers and stuff, and unfortunate. Yeah, whatever. So later in the movie, he finds a new girlfriend and stuff, and they're all doing their thing. And he works on a campus for a school, and he passes by a guy, and it's like that's the guy who stole my wallet. So he goes in there, and it's like this ASL like deaf community organization thing, and it's like you stole my wallet. He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, yeah, this guy here, he's pretending to be homeless at the train station. He's pickpocketing people. And it's like, hey, I need you to leave, sir. You're causing ruckus. And then they get in a fight. But like the way so there's two guys. The one guy who's organizing it and the guy who stole his wallet. The guy who's organizing it leaves to go get campus security. And the guy who stole the wallet went, yeah, I stole your wallet. It was a nice $20 I stole. And then they get in a fight and stuff. And he gets fired because of it. And then later in the movie, the guy who was organizing it was actually his girlfriend's cousin, who was mentioned earlier and was coming into town to give a presentation. And he's also deaf. And he's like the other main antagonist in the movie, and he's Jewish and stereotypically looking Jewish. Like
Like Orthodox Jew
I mean, they got this guy out
or
of
New
some
York Jew.
fucking Nazi propaganda movie.
Oh, Orthodox Jew.
Like the guy he literally looked like the I don't want to just sound like I'm trying to um, put this in, but it's a Christian movie that's already like doing all the basic Christian movie shit, and their main villain is someone of a different religion. It's just like, and they got a guy. Oh, is my Wi-Fi crash? Oh no, it's good. It's good. They got a guy who looked just so like dirty and scummy and sleazy, and he was so posh and like bragging about how rich he was. And it's like a Jewish guy. It's like I went to Gallaudet University, it's like a prestigious deaf university. It's like the deaf university you go to, the only one. That's like a liberal arts university. So he's like bragging about going there to the guy who's an artist because the main character's an artist, and it's like this is just so weird. And then halfway through the movie, when I realized it was Christian, was when the main character's girlfriend, they see her and she's got the Ash Wednesday cross on her head, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a little neat detail. And then she's like, oh, and they start talking about it, and it's like, oh, and then they go to church, and then he like seeks salvation from the priest, and the priest says like no sin is unforgivable and stuff. And then he's talking with his girlfriend, and he's like, yeah, a little girl died on my watch, and she's like, aw, you have a guardian angel. And I was like, what the fuck? Excuse me? Is that not fucked up?
Christians are weird, man.
Is that not fucked up as hell? I told David, he was like, that's stinky.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Religious propaganda always just goes
You have a
poorly.
guardian angel. It's a fucking kid who drowned. What the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about? It's so
it's
weird.
incredibly fucked up.
It's so weird. And that's when the movie ends. That's the final conversation
It
of the
does
movie.
bring it really is. It makes me like what's screaming at the back of my mind is that one line that even all the way back in childhood would I would say was the spark that pushed me away from Christianity. And when I say the line, you'll understand just how fucking stupid it is, even when you're talking to a child.
What line?
The Lord works in mysterious
I
ways.
hate it so much.
Like, why do all the
I
kids
hate it.
have cancer in their eyeballs?
The Lord works most
The Lord
mysterious
works in
ways.
mysterious ways.
Oh, it's just such a fucking yep. God is cruel, but we can't tell the children that because then they won't believe. Like it's just like fuck you, fuck you. It's just oh, but like I don't know. I'm still. I mean,
Do crimes, be gay, do witchcraft.
yeah. I mean, tomorrow is the ASL Winter Show, which I'm going to. I'm bringing my family there so they get some exposure to how a deaf concert works. Um, so I'm excited to go to that. But yeah. Are we done for the podcast for today? An hour.
I
We've
think
gone
that's
for a certain
it.
amount of time. We don't really have much else to talk about. Do we?
No, I think that's a good one.
Yeah,
There's a
this
bit
is a
of
good place to
editing
wrap it
out,
up.
but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for everyone who shows up and watches these episodes. We have a lot of fun making them, even if they
Go
aren't
play
like
Dwarf Fortress.
yeah. Yes, played Dwarf Fortress. I can't really testify I haven't played it, but it looks fun. Don't shoot
Yeah.
people.
Don't shoot people.
Play Dwarf Fortress instead.
Yeah.
Then Jade, we have to work on our alibis for the body. Um,
I have my alibi.
well, I yeah, but like it needs to.
I was bearing a different body.
Oh, okay, yeah, then that works. That works. It's like a plea deal.
I was bearing a different body. I wasn't bearing that
You were
body.
burying my body in the sand, at the beach. You were turning me.
Yes.
You were doing like the thing where like they bury you in the sand and they like make a mermaid, whatever. But it was like a dog. That's cute.
Yeah. A a
Anyway,
a poodle.
a poodle, a
You
poodle.
know,
I
the
have
only dog with poo in its name.
ooh. Well, there's pug, which has pu. Ooh, poog,
Pugs are
poog,
cool. The existence of pugs are
prugs,
cool. I love them.
prug.
Drug. Wait, I love pugs, but their existence is a cruelty to all dog kind.
Yeah, they're kind of like they're kind
Same
of like a
actually goes for Alsatians.
for what?
Alsatian.
Alsatian. Can you pull that up? Because I actually don't know what that is off the top of my head. I
German
probably.
Shepherd.
Oh, German Shepherd. Okay. Hey, but
Yes, the
they're.
actual name of the breed
Oh.
is an Alsatian.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, their legs are fucked up. Like their back,
The
like their
hips.
back, like the hips. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that part.
You know why?
I don't know why,
I'll
but I
drop
know
this little.
what's fucked up. Like it's
I'll
like
drop this little
rotation.
trivia for the end of the podcast. Then
Yeah.
the reason that Alsatians are as fucked as they are is because all Alsatians, globally, by the way, right?
hmm
All of them are bred from a single mother and father in the 1930s.
Oh, so there's like no genetic diversity really, or at least not a lot of it.
Yeah,
It's all
they're
from like
they're
one.
incredibly
Ah,
inbred. They are wonderful animals.
they're
Like,
so
look,
cute. All dogs
but
are cute. Let's put that straight.
all purebred Alsatians can be traced back to a single mother and father in the 1930s, and that's rather recent
That's
by
like less than 100
genetic
years.
standards.
That's like
Yeah,
90
by
years.
genetic standards, that's no time at all.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I can totally see that.
You can
Um,
also guess who did it by the time period and place.
it's the 30s in Germany. It was probably the Nazis.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, um. So yeah,
Which tells me only one thing. Hitler was really into dog incest.
he had a dog. I believe he killed it. He killed it
Oh,
when he
so
killed
he's like a
himself.
Republican.
He killed it when he killed himself.
So he's like a
He's like,
Republican.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Kirsty Gnome shooting her dog that
No.
wasn't good enough as a hunting dog. Anyway, we'll leave you off with that happy note. I
Go
hope
hug your
everyone,
dogs.
yeah, go hug your dog and play Dwarf Fortress and don't shoot anyone. Okay? So everybody have a nice week. See you next time.